Hello, hello. Here we go. It's August. Kids are back in school some places. It's
Yeah.
just like, what happened to summer? I don't know. It's still hot though. All right. We got quite a few people jumping in the room here. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, welcome everybody.
Yeah. Lots of familiar names. I see some new names I haven't seen in our webinars before. So if this is new to you, this is Zoom webinar, which is slightly different than Zoom meeting, in that your faces aren't showing. You guys are all muted. But you have to use the Q&A to ask questions. So not the chat, it's the Q&A. Please use that. I think you're going to have questions this webinar. There's a lot we're going to show. Um, so we're gonna get started because there's a lot in here, right? Would you guys
Yeah,
agree
we've got
with that?
lots of information for you
Yeah,
today.
we got lots of information for you today. So our topic's Google Analytics and Google Search Console. I'm on the analytics side, Jordan's on the Search Console side. We've been working on this for literally months, and we are gonna go. Wait a second, I just want to see. Okay, let's here we go. So our team for the webinar, Jordan and myself are presenting. Christy's here. She's helping us moderate, as is Brian. Brian's also our account executive. I always give Brian a shout out. If you'd like to say hi to everyone, Brian.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Hello. And if you're new to One Each and think your site needs a little TLC heading into 2026, as crazy as that sounds, it's right around the corner. Please reach out. And then if you're a current customer of ours, we do run on referrals, so please spread the words. United Ways, I'm looking at you. Please put us in touch with your agencies if you think they need a little bit better online presence.
Thank
Back to
you.
you.
All right. And then we have our special guest, Joyce, and she's kind enough to join us on vacation, so she's remote. Let's see, there she is. Say hi, Joyce. Let's see if we hear you.
Yep. Hi, everyone. I am Joyce Katzer from United Way of Caw Valley, and I'm the senior director of applications, and that kind of means anything that's IT data related, pulling data, monitoring data, measuring impact, that kind of thing. And I am responsible also for the web page.
Yeah. And so, what it was months ago, probably beginning of the year, maybe end of last year, Joyce reached out to me and says, I need some help with analytics. And I said, you want to work together? And she said, yeah. So Jordan and I met with her, I think beginning of the year, and started a plan, and she kindly led us into all of her Google stuff. So this webinar is thank you to Joyce and Caw Valley for sharing their data with everyone, so that we have real-time stuff to show you, and that's what we're going to be using today. So thanks, Joyce, so much for allowing us to do that. So we're going to have real data. We're going to have real stuff. Yes, this is recorded. It will be out there for you to watch again and again if you'd like, because there will be some stuff in here that you might really want to revisit. Our agenda today, we always do a know your audience. So we do want to know if you've used these tools. We're going to tell you some things you may or may not know about our did you knows. I'm going to do Google Analytics. Jordan's going to do Search Console, and we'll wrap it up with a follow-up poll on the end side. So let's know our audience. I'm going to go ahead and launch my poll. You should see this up on top of your screen. There are two questions. And basically it's, do you know Google Analytics? You using it? Do you know what it is? And do you know Search Console? Do you use it? Know what it is? So if everyone take a moment, look at your screen, go ahead and click answers to both of those. That's going to help us know what kind of audience we have here. And whether or not you know your accounts or not. So one of the things we often find is with staff turnover, there's an account, but no one knows how to access it. So we will check in with you if you don't know your account or how to get to it. There's some options for you, some things we can do. So we will talk that through. All right, I've almost got everyone answering these questions. I'm going to end the poll and share it. Oh, let's do that and share results. So Google Analytics, quite a few of you have it and have logged in, or have it and haven't logged in. Not that many who are regular users, because they probably could teach the class. And then Search Console. Search Console is a lot lower. And we did expect that. So we're going to make sure we have more time on that. They are different. So it is important for you to understand both elements. You know, Google's this amazing tool that's out there that does so much for us. Both good and bad, I suppose. It knows a lot about us. And you're going to want to know how these tools can help your organization. So here's our Did You Knows this week or this month. 3 to 4 days, 3 days to 4 weeks is when Google crawls your site. So when Google crawls your website, and any search engine crawls your website, they're crawling the code side of the page. They're looking for things like your page headers or your subheaders. We call them your H1s and your H2s, and keywords on the page and pictures and all that kind of stuff, so that they can index you and find out what's going on. So one thing to realize is if you make an update, that does not change the search immediately. It takes time for that stuff to happen. I am going to spend time on Google Analytics and how to set up some automated reports. That is something that we did on this journey, and it is fabulous to get just this report into your inbox every month on whatever kind of data you're trying to capture. The 3 different Google tools that we're focused on, of course, Analytics, Search Console, and Tag Manager is another important one. They all give you different data about your website. And then when we get into Google Analytics, anyway, I'll show you how to set up different accounts. Oh, did I have a spelling error there? Or is that on purpose? Inkling? Anyway, we want to make sure that it's not just one person that has access to your accounts. Staff turnover is a real issue, and if the person who had the admin, or if they use their personal Gmail account or whatever to set up their account, you're going to be stuck. And we see this very often where organizations have to start over from scratch with data because nobody knows how to get into it. So let me talk a bit about Google Analytics, and then I'm going to jump out to Kaw Valley's analytics page in just a moment here. So cool thing, most everyone on this webinar are Drupal users, and Drupal has a module for the code that is the Google Analytics code. Now, several years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they switched from what was called a universal code to Google Analytics 4 or GA4 code. So the code changed. It's G dash like 9 digits. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. All we have to do is drop it into our module, that code, and every page is being tracked. In some systems, people have to put tags on each and every page. You can use Tag Manager to enhance something that you're trying to track. But by default, your site is tracking every page, every new page, everything about your site by giving us that one code. So it is, if we don't have that code, we need to get it from you. That's important. There are default reports in Google Analytics. Acquisition, their overview report, fabulous. It gives you a lot of stuff. Sometimes that's kind of all you need, but you can drill down deeper. They have an engagement report, monetization. If you're doing anything like selling items and stuff, that's what that usually is used for. And then retention, like are these returning users? Are they new users? Who are they coming to your site? The reports, yeah, they have these great default reports that are awesome, but you can also customize them. Maybe you're looking by date range, or you're looking by geography, or you want to know how many mobile users you have versus desktop users. That kind of stuff you can drill down even deeper on as you build reports. So if you're not sure if you have an account, here's what I want you guys to do if you have another screen up. Go to analytics.google.com and see if you can log in. If you have a login and you're able to log in, then you should be able to see your data. If you're like, I have no idea, start with the account that you use for YouTube. If you have a YouTube account and you know that, it's part of the Google family, and a lot of times that could be the account that's tied to it. So hopefully you know how to get in, try to access it. If you aren't sure, you can check with us to see if we have your code. Now, as far as Google Analytics goes, this is data. This is like telling you all this stuff, and it's an overwhelming amount of data. So you kind of want to start with, what is it you want to know? What do you want to measure? So you want to think about that. When we met with Joyce back in the beginning of this, we were talking about some of the things that they were paying attention to. Volunteerism. They're getting closer to Day of Caring and their plans for that. So we really have watched that trend just go up, 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 up over time. And then maybe it's Dolly Parton Imagination Library. We looked at that and some other things as well, just to see when they put it out in social media, is it causing spikes? Is it causing things to change? So yeah, figure out what it is you want to measure, and then go ahead and create those reports and schedule them. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So that's super cool. So hang on for that one. Let me see. So this is a sample. It's blurry. I'm sorry about that. This is a sample of one of the reports that we started getting, and it's only a portion of it because it's the top 100 pages. So by month, I believe, how many hits the pages are getting. And again, we were looking at some of this activity. This is an older report from a couple months ago. So we'll have seen this changing. Their volunteerism and capacity building is what ties them out to their volunteer platform, which is like Get Connected. So that has seen a lot of use and growth. You're able to see how many active users, how many views it's had, what are the average views per person. So are they coming back and looking at it again? How long are they staying on the page? All of that kind of data can be found with these kind of reports. Okay, let's just go look at their analytics. So let me see if I can do that. All right. This is United Way of Caw Valley's analytics page. This is home. And when you come into home on your analytics site, it's going to give you, it always starts with active users. So this is what's going on right now on their site. How many people are on their site? Any trends that are happening you can watch. It also gives you suggested reports, things that you might want to look at. Now, see this, that volunteerism and capacity, they've got Day of Caring coming up in September something, I forget. So it's up 70%, the traffic on that. That makes sense, right? Because if you're promoting that event, and that's good to see. It's good to see that that stuff is trending the way you want it to trend. But this is just home. So let's go beyond that. I'm actually going to start with the admin. And you know what? I can't even see it the way I got this angled. The admin screen. And the reason I want to start here is there's some important settings for you and some things to know right off the bat with your Google Analytics account. The first one is account access management. You should have an administrator. Typically, it's tied to a Gmail. It should usually be a generic Gmail. Like, this is great. uwcawvalley@gmail.com. Fabulous, because that can hand off to another person, not tied to someone's personal email if at all possible. Now she invited us in and kindly gave me admin rights, which is that top level. If something happens, I can help them. But it should be someone from your office who also, you want to have at least 2 people that you trust with admin rights to your account. I believe that's very important. Then you can add editors, users. There's a lot of different levels you can do when you add users, analysis, all sorts of things. So you can pick a role, but add those users, because whoever you add as users are the people that you can invite to get the recurring of reports. They can't get your report unless they're added at some level. So they could be an analyzer or whatever. But if you're like, hey, I want to send my board chair the monthly report on page hits, then make sure they're in your systems. That's important.
Allison, will you show one more time how you got to that screen? We have a question just how to get back there.
Yeah, sure. It's this cogwheel down in the bottom corner that takes us to admin. That's where I started. So when I came to admin, it was this one right here called account access management. That's where I was. That tells you who's in your accounts, and then you can add people here. Okay, great question.
Thank you.
The next thing in the admin screen that I do want to show you is data streams. Data streams is this account tied to tracking data. Now, most all of you are going to be just a website tracker. If you have an app or something, you might have different data streams, but typically we find that most of our customers are going to have one data stream. Here's the ID number that our team must have. In order to track your analytics, we need to place that into your module for your website. And then boom, your data comes in. Every once in a while, people do something and their ID has changed and they're not getting any traffic data. It's usually because someone changed it. So you just want to make sure you're seeing data come in. And if not, you want to make sure we have your ID. But that's what we need. That would be a ticket into support with that ID number to track your Google Analytics. Okay. And then also in admin, the data filter, one of the important data filters that you might want to filter out is tracking internal traffic. Like, you know, if you're the website person, you're in the website all the time. If it's coming from your location, you can set that up so that you're not counted in the statistics. So I'm just going to mention that and we can help you with that. And then the last thing I want to show in here is these scheduled emails. And I'm going to show you how to schedule one, but you can see what you have scheduled. What's important is if you do start scheduling these reports to set out on a regular basis, they're only going to let you do it for so long. So you have to come and reactivate them or change them if you want. So these were the reports we set up back when we kind of started doing this. We are sending the top 100 pages. We were tracking Dolly Parton Imagination Library, Day of Giving, their campaign toolkit, and then some of the past. We've pulled different screens. So you can pick what you want, not from here. This is where you see it. Let's go find out how to set those reports up. So I'm going to go back into home, and actually I'm going to go to reports. I will say that Google Analytics is tracking data constantly. So it sometimes doesn't move super fast because it's actually just kind of this crazy working machine in the background. By default, so I'm clicking reports right now. By default, your system is going to set up a 28-day report. Now, the most common reports that we see folks go to is acquisition, engagement, monetization, and retention. So I'm going to click on acquisition first. There's a lot of choices here. I'm not going through them all. The overviews are great. They're kind of all of it summed together. So when you click the acquisition overview report, again, it's going to default it to the last 28 days. Up on the top right, you can change the setting. You can choose you know, to change it for a year. You can set up comparisons of time. You can do all sorts of things. And once you see a report, you can dig in deeper to the report, like all the details about a report. Let me make comments about what this means. Organic search versus direct. Direct means they typed your URL in. They knew your website address. Organic means they searched it and then they found you, which a lot of people just do even if they know your address. So those numbers aren't uncommon. And then of course you got the pages they're landing on, etc. So this is just our overview of acquisition, how they're getting there. Yes. So if you want to send it out, I see the question. This is your share icon up here. All right. So share this report. Let's just say this is perfect report. Now you might mess with it first. You might change the date range. You might do some other stuff. But no, I like this report. Let's share it. If you click the share icon, you have a lot of choices. You can just email it as is right now to whoever, to you. To schedule, I'm pretty sure they have to have accounts. You could share the link to it. Again, they need to be able to log in, or you could download it. you can download it as a PDF. So if you're going to schedule an email, you name the report, whatever you want, who you're sending it to, and then choose when it's going. Is it going monthly? Is it going daily? Is it weekly? Is it a PDF? Is it a CSV file? What do you want that data to be? So yeah, go schedule these emails. These are cool. They just drop in your inbox and you're like, oh, check it out. And they
And-
come, yeah, go ahead.
I think the other piece of that question too, you were talking about direct links, right? So if you are sending a link out to someone and they click on it, that would be considered a direct click as well.
Oh, thank you. I probably misunderstood that because I glanced. So yeah, a direct click would be they had your URL, they went straight there. They didn't search it in Google or Bing or anything. So that would be direct. They went straight to the URL without going through another process. But yes, for sending reports, we can share reports, send them here. This is cool. You have a lot of things you can do with this stuff as well. One of the features that they added when they did Google Analytics 4 is they added something called Insights. And if you ever click on this, it will tell you any trends that they've seen. Maybe some trends in number of visitors, most users, trends in demographics. A lot of that stuff will just, sometimes it'll just pop on your screen and it will email you if something's really standing out. I believe engagement had an insight on it. Let me see. So engagement is, how long are they on the page? How many active users? What are the page counts, etc. But if you click the insights, let's see if this one is going to do it. Oh, it's not giving it to me now. It told me that there was one page that had a huge upswing and it was the volunteerism stuff. So see the spikes? It'll say, hey, spike in average engagement went up like a lot. There's a lot of reasons that that could happen. You sent out a link and everyone clicked it. That's great. That's what you want. So this is how you track, like, am I successful in something I put on social media? Am I successful in something that I have emailed out or it was in a constant contact or whatever? You can add comparisons. You can search things over time. This also lets you actually search for something like new users last month compared to the same month a year ago. It'll tell you, how that goes. So there's a lot of things like, I really want this data, search it, it'll pull up the report, it'll tell you how to look at it. I found that search actually to be very helpful in looking for different things. And then the retention is the other one. I'm skipping monetization because this site's not selling product, but in the retention report, new users versus returning users, engagement, how long they've been on these different things, etc. Let's see here. Was there a question that just popped in? I just saw something.
Yeah, someone just asked, what does not set mean in page views?
Page views. Oh yeah. At the top, it's not identifying the URL for some reason. And I think, is that what we determined was some of that other site? Jordan?
Yeah, potentially it could be some of the things that'll pop up in Search Console.
Right. So, pages and screens, probably one of the most common, and that's where I think you saw oh, here we go. Spiked sharply, the most over the week increased respectively. So these are these spikes that we're seeing, and that's an insight. So an insight will pop up if it sees something. You can click on it and see what key drivers are. It will actually email the admins also if there is something that hit the insight of them, that they're seeing some kind of jump and change. When you look at these pages, you can choose to filter for all sorts of different things, title and screen name, content, and then it's set to 10. We had actually changed ours to 100 because we wanted to see the 100 top pages. And then we set that to go as a report. We are seeing volunteerism has had a big increase, and it'll tell you over time, like, what your percentages, are they increasing, are they decreasing, who's on them, what are the pages people are looking for. You will also find if like a page not found is showing. So one of the things that we've talked to Joyce about, and she's aware of that we've been working on, is that they had a merger a few years ago. So there's still some stuff tied to an old domain from two United Ways that merged together. So some of the documents still have some of the stuff. And so we're still cleaning that stuff up, but this helps you identify like what that is, and so you can hopefully get rid of old PDFs that are on the site that are tied to something or anything along those lines. All right. There's so much here. Explore is also a very interesting area of analytics. This, and I've played with this some, I started messing around. You can create your own detailed searches. So if you really get into this, I'm going to tell you watch a class or do something. That's how I learned some of this stuff. You can pick to, look at desktop versus mobile versus tablet, locations. You can pick and choose what's being compared, and you can build your own comparisons. So pretty cool. There's all sorts of things that you can track based on. So you decide, like, what are you interested in knowing? Maybe you're trying to meet a certain demographic. So yeah, you can actually build out your own reports. You can use the default ones. You can customize the default ones. You can change them by date range. You can change them by behavior. And that was a really high level overview. This thing gets deep. There's a lot to it. There's a lot you can do with it. You can talk to your account manager. We're happy to look at it with you. We're not experts at Google. So we do have some resources at the end of this webinar about it as well. That will help you if you want to go further with it. And that's what I'm going to show on analytics. I'm going to I think Search Console is what most people are less familiar with. So I'm going to give Jordan more time with that. So let me stop sharing.
Perfect. I'm just gonna get all my screens ready here. Pop up slideshow. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen here. But yes, I'm so glad we did that poll at the beginning of this webinar because it goes along with what I thought, which is that Google Search Console is a very underutilized tool. And it's so beneficial for you to use this along with your Google Analytics account. So I wanted to get into a little bit about Google Search Console. I am going to try and do a high-level overview. As Allison mentioned, these tools are great. You can dive deeper and deeper and deeper into these tools, but when you're just getting started, we'll talk about some of the things that you should pay attention to as if you were, logging in for the first time, which many of you will be. So Google Search Console, why should you use it? There's a couple good, very important reasons, I think, that you should be using this tool. The first is that it's going to help you monitor your website's performance and visibility. So it is going to tell you all about the traffic coming to your website and how you're performing on Google. So it's going to show you things like clicks and impressions and average position and your click-through rate. You'll see all of those data points within your Google Search Console account. We'll go through what those mean, but all of these things will help tell you how you're doing on Google. Are you showing up at the top? Are lots of people able to find you? If they're not, that tells you you need to start making some changes so that you are showing up on Google better. It also will help you identify some technical issues and to resolve them. Google Search Console will let you submit a sitemap to it. When you submit a sitemap, that tells Google to go ahead and crawl all of those pages. It'll start to index pages on your site, which means it puts it on the Google index, which means it's searchable on Google. For pages that are not indexed, it'll start to give you a list of reasons why. Some of those you don't need to take any action on. It means that it's Google's doing its job, but there are some action steps that will pop up down there. So that'll give you kind of a to-do list to start working through. And then the last reason I have up here is that Google Search Console will tell you how somebody is finding your site. So analytics, Google Analytics tells you what people are doing on your site once they get there, but Google Search Console will tell you how they are getting there. So in your Search Console, you'll be able to see what somebody Googled in the search bar that you popped up and then they clicked on your link. So that's really important. That can help drive the type of content you're putting on your site, how you're titling your content, is all based on those searches that people are already Googling. All right, so how do you get started? What I don't have on this step is if you do not have any type of analytics or Google Search Console account. So if you're brand new, you will want to go ahead and start to set those up. If it's a brand new account, meaning you don't have an analytics account, there will be a step to verify your domain. So please reach out to us because we'll have to help in that step. We can go ahead and verify that domain. Google likes to make sure that you actually own the site you're telling it you own. If you have an analytics account, but you don't have a Search Console account, you should be able to link those accounts over and create a new one. So once you are in your account, the very first thing we recommend doing is uploading your sitemap to Search Console. And this is something that our team, if you have your website hosted with us, which all of you do, we'll have to generate this sitemap for you. So if you don't have one already, please go ahead and submit a support ticket and request that a sitemap is generated for your site. If you're not sure if you have a sitemap, there is an easy way to tell. And I'm going to jump back and forth now between our slides here, but wanted to show you what a sitemap looks like. So this is the sitemap for United Way Kaw Valley. So an easy way to tell is if you add a /sitemap.xml to your URL. If you see a page that looks like this pop up, you have a sitemap generated. If you do not see this page, please get a ticket in and we'll make sure we generate one for you. Once you have this sitemap generated within Google Search Console, this is our overview page that you land on in Google Search Console. On the left-hand side, you'll see sitemaps over here. And then you can enter in that URL to Search Console and go ahead and submit that sitemap. That's the #1 thing to do. That will allow Google to start crawling all of the pages on your sitemap and to start storing that information. So the big question that comes up a lot with sitemaps and uploading your sitemap to Google Search Console is, how often do I need to do this? Is it a weekly thing? Is it a yearly thing? You do need to do it occasionally, but only when there's big significant changes to your website. So if you have added a ton of new content, you whipped out 10 to 20 new pages, you've got new blog posts, new news articles that you've added to your site, that's a good time to go ahead and update the sitemap in Google Search Console. Same thing if you have made big content changes on existing pages. If you've really revamped all of your existing pages, you have new content on there, that's also another reason when you would want to update your sitemap. And these are big changes, not minor. I've changed a couple sentences, big content changes. If you did any type of site restructuring, if you've reorganized your content, the structure, your menu at all, and how all of those pages are kind of laid out on your site, that's another good time to update your sitemap. And then the last reason is a new website launch. So after your site has launched, that's a great time to get a new sitemap in there. So for our customers that are going through upgrades, they're going into new themes after you've gone live, I would go ahead and update that sitemap here. All right. Next, after you have submitted your sitemap, I would say wait 30 days. You need to start collecting data before you want to make any type of decisions based on for the content of your site. So give yourself 30 days. get that data collected so that it's meaningful data, and you can use that as your, decision making. You can back your decisions, based on that data. Once you've waited the 30 days, I would say start reviewing your top queries for your brand and services. And top queries simply just means the searches that people are searching and finding you in Google. So in your Google Search Console account, right on this overview page, this is the page that you land on when you come to the site, you'll see a performance section, and you can view that full report. And you'll start to see clicks, impressions, click-through rate, but underneath, you'll start to see your queries or the top searches that people are using to find you. So the top Google search to find United Way of Kaw Valley's website is United Way Kaw Valley. 293 clicks over 3 months. People Googled that. So you can start to see what people are using to search. Volunteer opportunities, EC impact. I think we have one here. Free school supplies near me. I know back to school has been happening. There were 15 clicks here, and they were running a back to school supply page. So this makes sense that people were finding them with that search. So these queries, the other nice thing about these is that they will help you with keyword research. So you'll start to be able to identify keywords that people are already using to find you, so you can capitalize on that. You can place those in on the back end of your page in that SEO analyzer on your tools. You can start to sprinkle those keywords into the content that you're creating. This will also help you expand existing content. You can work some of these searches in if people are really searching for this line specifically. How can you add that into some existing content? And it'll just help you kind of create new content that is matching, what people are searching here. So this is a great place to start as a good starting point, and then you'll be able to drill down as you get more comfortable with the tool. Okay. The fourth thing I had on here was set up automated monthly email reports. This one is very easy because Google Search Console will actually automatically send you a monthly performance report once you get the account set up. This performance report is really great. We'll go through what that looks like. If you need to, though, you can start to drill down. You can set up customized reports if you're really trying to target something specific and you want to see a report on that, you can set those up. That is done on the analytics side and not in Google Search Console. So when Allison was showing how to create those monthly reports, if you noticed underneath on the sidebar, there was a Google Search Console section. So that's where you can go to set up those customized reports. So when you start to get these monthly reports, and we'll go through a couple, but I wanted to touch on the terminology first, you'll start to see things like clicks and impressions. And it's great that you're seeing this, but you really need to know, what does that mean to me? So a click is just the number of times a user clicked on your website. So they searched you somehow, they saw your website link, and they clicked on that link. Impressions is the number of times you appeared in a Google search. So they may not have clicked on your link, they might have, but you showed up in Google. That is what an impression is. Other metrics that we want to look at are your average click-through rate. So this is the percentage of people that searched for you, saw you, and then clicked on that link. So a good range here, just to give you kind of a metric to track yourself. For nonprofits, I would say a good click-through rate is between 2 and 5%. I know if you are utilizing the Google Ad Grants program, I believe they require that you have at least a 5% click-through rate average each month. And then average position, this is the ranking of your website pages in search results for specific queries. So on specific searches, how are you ranking? You'll be able to take a look at that as you dive deeper into Google Search Console. So let's take a look. I do have, Joyce was so kind with sharing her account with us. So I have 3 months worth of performance reports from Google Search Console. So we're able to look through at how the data is trending. So this is from May. She had 828 clicks, 828 people did a search on Google, found her website and clicked it. And she had 33,000 impressions. So she showed up 33,000 times on Google searches. In June, a few more clicks and a few more impressions. So you're starting to see that data trend up. And then in July, we had a big spike. We're up to 1,000 clicks and 38,000 impressions. So it's good to see these numbers both trending up, that you're not showing up more, but your clicks are going down. If you see that happening, that tells you, we need to do something. We need to change the content on our site so that we're showing up a little more. It also will show you your content achievements. You can see your top growing pages. So what got the most clicks that month, and then your top performing pages kind of all time. So in May, there was a news article, recycled rides, Day of Giving is starting to get clicked. In June, we see back to school start to show up. 29 people started really searching for that page. Volunteering and Day of Caring again is still trending and still growing, which makes sense based off what they're running, right? They're preparing for Day of Caring. They were getting ready for the start of back to school in June. And then in July, we see that grow even more. So a huge surplus on that back to school page. That makes sense. The home page took a growth page here, and then it looks like this is a summer food program page as well. So you can start to see these show up. If you're seeing pages in here that you are not running, or it shouldn't be in here, that's a good reminder to go take a look at what the content is on that page. Make sure it's updated, it's relevant, because people are going there and they are looking. Underneath in the bottom, I do like this section. This is saying, showing you how people are finding you. So this is showing you what somebody Googled the most that month and how they found you. So top growing searches, EC Impact, volunteer opportunities, United Way Topeka. These are all things people typed in that search bar, and United Way Cobb Valley showed up. In June, same thing, United Way Lawrence, Kansas, volunteer opportunities, Kansas. So a few different tweaks, but a similar search term. And then in July, United Way Cobb Valley, United Way Topeka, and then free school supplies near me. That search was entered and you guys showed up and were clicked on 8 times on that search result. And then lastly, in these performance reports, it is a learn about your audience section. This is so helpful because it will show you how many people are viewing your site on a desktop, on a mobile device, on a tablet. And you can see how many clicks you got per device. So it's important to pay attention to this, because you'll start to see there may be a point where your mobile is outperforming your desktop. So this tells you you really need to make sure that you are looking at your pages on your phone, popping it into mobile view in your browser, and making sure the layout looks nice, because you're getting a lot of traffic, more than 50% at this time, on a cell phone versus a desktop. So great little indicators to help clue you into adjustments that you can make on your site. And then the bottom of the report is just countries that are visiting, and then the search types. So really helpful information to go through, but sometimes it's just hard to know, what this all means. So hopefully that's answering some of your questions today.
And there is, I don't know if you're getting to this one, there was a question that came in that I think you were going to talk about, but like if you get the 404 errors, or is there a way for you to tell what pages are giving those errors?
Yes. And that is, what we're diving into next. So at the very beginning slide, we talked about, Google can help you track the performance that you're doing on, that you're having on Google, but it can also help you resolve those technical issues that may be popping up. And that's all done within page indexing. So once you've submitted your sitemap to Google, Google will start to go through and index all of your pages. And you'll get to see a report in Search Console that is showing you what pages have been indexed and what pages have not been indexed. And on the pages that have not been indexed, you'll start to see a list of reasons why it wasn't indexed. Some of those reasons, yes, need an action step. Some of them do not need an action step. So an indexed page is just meaning that Google's crawled it. It crawled it, it analyzed it, and it's storing that data on the Google index. A non-indexed page means Google has not done any of that. They're not storing your information. As you start to use this tool more and your site grows, you should start to see your index pages go up gradually. You won't see a huge increase in this. It'll be kind of over time. You also won't see 100% pages indexed. That just isn't going to happen. There's always a couple of pages that aren't indexed. Google doesn't forget pages completely, so there'll be kind of previous pages that maybe no longer exist, but Google's still remembering that. It'll become a non-indexed page. So you won't ever see 100% indexed and 0% non-indexed. And then just a reminder, Google is slow. From that did you know we did earlier, it takes between 3 days and 4 weeks for Google to crawl your website. So if you are making changes, don't expect to see this jump immediately. It takes time for Google to search everything and update things on its end. All right, so let's go back to Search Console. In the left-hand side under indexing, you will see pages. And this is where we're seeing all of the indexed pages and all of those non-indexed pages. And right below this, you'll see why pages aren't being indexed. And it'll tell you what the reason is, and then how many pages have this reason. And there's a ton of them here. We're not going to have time to dive into all of them today. A lot of them too are really going to depend on your specific organization. You may not have these same errors. There's a bunch of different reasons that could pop up here, so it's not going to be the same for everybody. The best advice I can give you is to click into each reason. Start to take a look at all of the pages that are affected with this. So look at those URLs, see if any are familiar. We'll touch on a couple today. The other thing I want to point out is that there is always a learn more with each reason. Google has great documentation too that will break down what this means and how to resolve it too. So you can use this as a tool. But this issue specifically, duplicate without user selected canonical pages. So, and I apologize for the butchering of that word, but Google likes to use canonical pages as the pages it's indexing. This error means that there is a duplicate page out there of whatever this page is, and Google has chosen the other page to use as the canonical page. So it's saying we found 2 similar pages. We're using the other one because that one looks right, and this is the page that we did not index. So in this error, there's really not a ton of action for you to take. That's a good thing that Google doesn't like to duplicate pages. The only step I would take here is that if you think Google has got it wrong. So if you're taking a look at these URLs and you're saying, oh no, this is our main page, Google has it wrong, then you can proceed and kind of taking some action steps. So if you click into URLs, you'll be able to inspect it here. You'll see it's not on Google, it was not indexed, and you can get a little more information. So this will show you what page Google has chosen. So if this is the wrong page, then we'll want to open a report and pursue, getting that switched over. But it doesn't necessarily mean you need to resolve all of those page errors. Another one that pops up a lot is this not found 404. This means that Google has found the pages that show up here without a sitemap, without an explicit request. It could also mean it's kind of like Google stumbled upon it accidentally. A lot of the pages that show up here could be pages that have been deleted, but Google kind of found it, happened upon it before you submitted a sitemap or before you deleted that page. So these things here aren't necessarily a bad thing to have, as long as you've taken a look at what these are and resolved them. Or made sure that, you know, if it is a page that is active on your site, you've resubmitted that sitemap and you've given it time to crawl that page and then go ahead and index it. I know we're getting close. A couple more. Page with a redirect. These are important to take a look at. This, if you're seeing this reason, it means a couple of things. The redirect chain might be too long. So to get from point A to point B, you may have 5 different redirects in place, and maybe that's too long for Google and you need to look to shorten that up. It could also mean that you are stuck in a redirect loop. You've got page A redirecting to page B and page B redirecting back to page A. That's causing a lot of confusion in Google. So you'll want to take a look at that. Again, clicking into each reason will give you more information about the URLs that are affected. You can click into them further and inspect those URLs, and that's going to give you more information to be able to get that issue resolved. Let's see, alternate page with canonical tag. This means that Google has found a page on your site and marked it as an alternate of another page. So there's currently a page out there that is indexed, but Google has said this is kind of the backup to that page if this one goes away. So there's really not anything to do here on this step either. And we can go through more. I know we're getting closer on time. Clicking through on any of these, this Learn More button takes you to, this is a really helpful page within Google Support and Google Search. It's all about Search Console. It'll give you really good tips on how to navigate everything. It will also tell you toward the bottom, these are all of the indexing reasons why a page might not be indexed. So it's going to break down every reason that it provides, and it will give you, you know, links for how do you fix that link? What does this mean? What does it tell me? Learn how to fix it. So Google does provide really good support here as you dive in. So this is definitely a resource to have. All right. And then the last thing I'll just touch on it is that all of these reasons that you're seeing down here, it can look overwhelming at first. There's a lot of pages that have, you know, these reasons. Not all of them, you know, maybe need to be dealt with at the moment, but none of them need to get resolved in a day. This is a big list. It's going to take you time to work through it. So as you start to utilize the tool more, make it part of that weekly routine where you're, you know, checking out these reasons, you're reviewing some of them to make sure there isn't anything that is incorrect in here or that does need an action step. All right, we'll come back to our slideshow here. Were there any other questions on Search Console? I know I saw a couple pop through in the chat. It looks like maybe they all got answered.
Yeah, so not necessarily questions for a few people who were logging into theirs and looking at them. I will say this, there was a number of our customers, especially United Ways, have recently updated your sites. It is going to be important if you've had a recent site update to resubmit your sitemap, because that things will have somewhat shifted. And then, you know, one of the interesting things I saw with Joyce's, because she recently updated too, was that her page count actually went down because she did some cleanup. We actively worked on like getting rid of some of the old stuff there. So you'll see some trends. Your page count could go up, your page count could go down. Those are reasons that you need to resubmit it. Is there a charge to load the sitemap? Absolutely not.
No charge. No.
No charge. You can request a sitemap from One Each. That's free. And you're having an account is also free. One of the things we didn't really talk about that I do want to point out is like in analytics, there's a space in there to connect your Search Console and analytics accounts. So make sure you get them connected. also make sure you're using the same email to create both of them, because that can get very complicated. All right,
Yeah.
but that's it. Shall we do our poll? Where'd my polls go?
Yeah, we always end or start the closeout of our webinars with a feedback poll. So we'll get that launched here in just a second.
Oh, there it is. Got it. I have just launched it. Have I not? No, I haven't. There we go. So we're just wondering, and you can check as many of these as you want, if there's any actions that you're thinking you're going to do after watching this. Maybe you're at the point like, I don't even know what my Google login is, or you're wanting to schedule reports or whatever it might be. So please note that your account managers are here to support you as well. And again, we're not experts, but happy to kind of go through that process with you and look at some of this together. Okay. And the screen's up for the poll question. This is when we find out if you're watching the screen or not. And yeah, I'll go ahead and give you another second. I'm going to end that. I'll share our feedback. There you go. That's not a surprise here. You know, the biggest one is, do you see it, Jordan? All right.
I do. I'm very excited to see that.
Yep.
We did prepare our support team in advance to this webinar that they may be getting some requests in to generate those sitemaps. So they'll be ready for you.
Yes, so that was definitely the top one was, hey, I'm going to get my sitemap added to Search Console. The Search Console reports are very cool, and it does email you monthly also, which you like. Someone's already submitted their request. I'll stop sharing. All right. Well, thank you guys for all that. We appreciate your feedback, and let us know if you need help with those processes. Go ahead, Jordan.
All right. Before we get to our closing slide, we did want to show some resources from Google that we wanted to provide out. I know Allison visited this top link here, Skills Shop. This is, and Allison, correct me if I'm wrong here, these are all free courses that you can take that walk you through a bunch of different areas on the Google suite of tools. So I think you did a couple of them on the analytics, correct?
See the two little black completed boxes towards the bottom there on that bottom? I did those classes. And you get a little certificate too. It's like an hour long. There's video clip and then some questions, and they have some information. They guide you through clicking around your analytics. I did it just to help me out a little bit more. It helped reinforce things I knew, and I learned a few new things along the way. I'll probably do more of these, but I stumbled across this. It's free, and it's part of Google, and it's pretty cool. So you should check those out if you're wanting to like dive deeper.
Perfect. And then I used support.google.com. And when you're logged into your account, you'll be able to drill down further. It kind of gives you the URLs aren't pretty once you're logged in, but this is another good starting point. They have support documentation on every single tool. So if you do go here, you'll be able to find Search Console or Analytics, and then you can drill down into different areas of the tool. But I found that really helpful as I was preparing for this webinar. All right, a couple of resources from the 1H side. We do have a newsletter. It goes out, I think, about bi-monthly. We've been getting it out. We don't try to spam you with it, but we do try to highlight some really interesting sites that we've been working with, some cool solutions we've come up with. It's great to be a part of if you're not already signed up for it. We also have a pretty in-depth 1H blog where we're constantly trying to put useful information out there for all of our nonprofit customers. So I would definitely recommend checking it out if you've got some time. All right, in closing, again, a reminder, all of our webinars are recorded. About 24 hours after we end this, we'll get the recording put on our support site in our webinar section. You'll also get an email too with the link. If you need to get a support ticket in for any reason, our team is there to help you 24/7, support.1h.com, get those sitemap requests in. And then you can always book time with your account managers. Allison, Christina, and Chrissy are happy to help walk you through these steps. Looking ahead at the next 3 months, next month we are doing a workshop style webinar. So this is a great one to come with 2 screens prepared because it will be walking through things together. Allison and Chrissy are going to lead this one, and the topic is web forms. In October, we've got another special guest presenter, Katie Gibson with the Bloomerang CRM. She's really going to dive into some of the best practices to use in the Bloomerang CRM and some of the benefits of having it. And then in November, another webinar workshop with Allison and I touching on donation and giving pages. And then I also just want to extend another big thank you to Joyce for allowing us access into her analytics account to be able to dive into that data. That really helped us, put this together for everyone with real live data that makes sense. So thank you so much for joining us today and giving us that access.
All right. We even got a thank you, Joyce message. So yes. Thanks, Joyce, by the way. And that wraps us up. So we're right on time. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You're welcome.